Jim Nagy gives us a peek behind the curtains at how Oklahoma is handling its recruiting these days. And Greg Sankey likes the fundamental approach that Brent Venables and the Sooners are taking to SEC football. Let's talk about it. Good evening, and welcome back to the Hall of Fame College Football Late Shift. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Gentlemen, welcome into the show, everybody. Kyle DePuis, Coach Rick's goated. Glad everybody's in here. Make sure you check in and wipe those feet when you get here. Dwayne Johns, what's up, my guy? Good to see you. Saw you guys on with Coach Ricks the other day, man. Got a whole panel of people. I liked it, man. I liked it. What's up, Coach Ricks? Where you at? Let's see. I was going to send that to him just in case he's still awake. I doubt he is, though. Great Iron Inside. Look at there. There's old big cuz Marcus Dent. What's up, my guy? Good to see you. Let's see if I can get in here. Oh. Well, as I said, starting off this show here, we getting to see a little bit of what Chris Mason has been talking about is the sausage process, as far as recruiting is concerned with Jim Nagy. I think that's basically what we've been trying to explain is that it's not always going to line up correctly with what you're seeing out of 247 or Rivals on 3, which they're together now at this point. But it's definitely starting to look more like what Mr. Mason's been saying, as far as you're going to see some of these things that it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. As far as the recruiting rankings may suffer a bit, some of that other kind of stuff, because they're more looking in at what it's going to be for, the way that they would do things if it was a professional franchise, which they're going to look at the guys that have those measurables, size, speed, strength, etc. Hey, welcome in there, Lisa Rawls. Good to see you. What you doing in Salt Lake? Or do you live in Salt Lake, don't you? That's right. I saw you were in San Diego the other day. Mr. Satterfield. I sent you that link, bud, to go get your, matter of fact, now that I say that, I better do something real quick. I sent you that link to go get your T-shirt that you on the giveaway deal. What's up there, T Boomer? How's everybody doing this evening? So anyway, as I was getting at, talking a little bit about that, and actually, I was watching the show that this was on, as a matter of fact, but Marcus sent me the actual write-up that they did on SI.com about it, basically saying Oklahoma was explaining, or Jim Nagy from Oklahoma explains why they won't spend for 5-star recruits. And it makes a lot of sense. It's like I said, I think it kind of coincides with what we've been talking about. You did get it. Good. Glad you were able to get it, bud. All right. Comanche Sooner in Texas. What's up, guys? Yeah, listen, I know I haven't been on as much this week. It's been, it's been kind of a crazy few weeks. For me. Got some family stuff I've been, trying to help deal with and some things like that. And then just kind of, man, just to be honest, there's just sometimes you get a little burnout. A little bit is part of it too. There's, we're in that talking season. There's not a ton going on that, I feel like really matters. And then whenever you got personal stuff going along with it, it just kind of, you get to a point where, I don't know, just didn't really feel like doing it as much. So I kind of backed off a little bit for the week, popped on a little bit towards the end of the week, and stuff like that. But as far as I went on with K. Chris and then for a few minutes, and I was on a show, it was actually a Florida State show, to talk about Jaden a little bit. But aside from that, I really hadn't been on much. So my apologies for not being, Johnny on the spot as usual. But we'll talk about it a little bit tonight, and we'll do a call in a little while. You guys can call in, talk about what you think, and we'll go from there. Yeah. But anyway, getting back into what we were talking about. Let's see. Where is that? Oh yeah, here it is. So talking about kind of with the new age of college football, and especially with this new rev share just hitting, you have a $20.5 million hard cap. The SEC is acting like that they're acting like they are going to stick with that and stick real close to that. Now, whether or not they do, I tend to believe that they're not going to, and I think that you don't have to look very far to understand and see it. But even the Big 12, for instance, you think they care about this, not being able to put into NIL stuff and have it change what your cap is? They don't. I saw that Georgia's actually, they got rid of their collective, but they're having, basically a management or a production company is taking over that so that they can directly kind of give Oklahoma, or not Oklahoma, but Georgia, and apparently I think Ohio State is involved in that one as well, where they can directly go to these athletes, offer them NIL deals through that, and then have them fulfill them as far as doing commercials or whatever other kind of content you want to add into that. So overall, I think that there's a lot of programs that they're getting, they're finding some creative ways to be able to land some higher end recruits, be able to kind of go that route. And I think that, look, if I had anything to say about Oklahoma and the way that they do things, I'd say that they're always going to be on the slower end of that as long as Joe Castiglione is in charge. Because he's always been about, compliance. Let's make sure that we're complying with the rules of the NCAA, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of why they hired him. I'm not even saying anything bad about him. But it's one of those things that I think Oklahoma is probably going to lag in that. Now, they've done a really good job when it comes to bringing along this quote-unquote NFL model, which part of that was bringing in a guy like Jim Nagy as well. That's just kind of where they are. And on the face of it, I have no problem with the way Jim Nagy wants to build this roster, right? Now, as far as building it, when you start talking about bringing in guys from high school, some of the transfer portal moves that they're going to make, I don't have necessarily a problem with that. What I think that we've seen he struggles in a little bit, and maybe it's just his first year, it's getting his feet wet a little bit, not having been in college football. But retention is key. You have to be able to retain some of the guys that the coaching staff has worked very hard on getting these guys in the building, T-Boom was saying something about we're missing on too many good players right now. I don't know that that's necessarily the case, but I understand that is definitely the way that it looks out there. I understand that that's definitely the way that it looks out there. You feel like it's too early for him to be taking over recruiting high school players right now. Now, listen, it's just kind of what we talked about. And, again, sausage process, if you look at it, you don't want to know how they made the sausage. You just want to see the fruit, or you just want to see the product on the plate, that it looks good and ready for you to eat it once it gets on the plate. I understand that. Do I believe that that it's the right way to go about things? I don't know. I think time will tell, right? I tend to have belief in guys like Jim Nagy, though, and the staff that he has that has so much. They do have a lot of experience in what football players are going to make it at the next level and which ones aren't. So it's like I've said before, we're either going to trust these guys to get it done or we're not. And I think a lot of that is going to depend on what's going to happen this year, right? How do they play this year? How do they go out there and make that next step and not go 2-6 in the SEC, right? That's key. Now, you could say, well, this isn't really the roster that he put together. And to some extent, you'd be correct to say that because this is the guys that Brent Venables and his staff have loaded up this roster with. Now, I will say that I believe that Brent and Nagy are on the same page for the most part. I think that there's a few things that maybe he wasn't up to speed on a few things. I go back to looking at the Stoney situation. I didn't care for that when it came to retention. I think it spilled over onto some other players that weren't as high profile as David Stone, but it definitely would have been in a big effect on the program had you allowed these guys to get away. But that being said, I would just tell you that the NFL model is how you're going to have to do it to some extent, at least, because you're not going to be able to compete with Texas and Texas A&M when it comes to pure money. Even though I'm not sitting here telling you Oklahoma's broke, because they're not. Now, I think that there's a piece of the puzzle in there when it comes to the front office / hierarchy at OU that, again, they're about compliance, not just about, what you're supposed to do to win. But the truth be told, you're going to have to, I think that Joe C at some point is going to have to take a step back and maybe even a step out of how things are controlled in regard to the football program, because it's not the same thing as the rest of the sports in your university. They're just not. The CSC is going to be overseeing a lot of that stuff, that College Sports Commission, Deloitte, a lot of those things. I know that Joe C is he's a big proponent of a lot of that stuff. But in the end, I don't know that we don't have to have a bunch of people making those decisions and getting in the way of some of the decisions that are going to have to be made. If you're going to be successful in the SEC, you're going to have to get it done. So it kind of is what it is. Saw my comments on Ruffino and Joe. Blake's an idiot when it comes to OU O-line situation. I like Blake Ruffino. I got to be honest with you. I like the dude. I don't love that he came on the show, said what he said last year, and a lot of it, you can go back and find it, and I'll look at it here. I'll look for it in a little while and drop it maybe it'll be after this show, but I'll drop it back in the comments of this show so that way everybody can see it. But he made some comments during that show about how he felt like that offensive line was going to be hurt, and he saw them going 6-6. What Blake did a lot of, and it's what I told him in there was that he's taking credit for being right, but he wasn't right for the reason he thinks he was right for, right? It just kind of is what it is. But Ruffino's a trip. He's good. He's good at what he does. I think he's funny. I think that they do a good job, him and Joe. They work their asses off. They put in a lot of work. I got a lot of respect for him. But you can't just come in there and start making these outlandish statements like what he was making about the offensive line, about it not being very good, when at the end of the year, it didn't have anything to do with the offensive line while they were playing the way they were. You look at the Alabama game, they dominated in the trenches, both sides of the ball. Both sides of the ball. So don't tell me that they weren't ready. What it amounted to was you had a quarterback that was scared of his own shadow. When you saw the games against LSU, even, they're leading that game, and all of a sudden they're afraid to go down the field. They're not running the football the way they were the week before against Alabama. And, it got away from them because of those things. You know what I mean? So it kind of is what it is. It didn't have anything to do with the O-line, though. It didn't have nothing to do with the O-line, why you ended up losing against Missouri, again, that same quarterback that was afraid of his own shadow booted the ball off of his knee. They had a 7-point lead with 2 minutes left and lost in regulation. What does that have to do with the offensive line? Nothing. You know, I would tell you the same thing about the Tennessee game. What are the offensive line? There wasn't a problem there. It was a fumble problem for Jackson Arnold, an interception and fumble problem. Because Michael Hawkins comes in and he's able to move the ball up and down the field. So come on, man. Let's be real about it. Yeah, at the end of the year, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. What's up there, Crow? Good to see you, man. Thank you. What's up? Excited to talk some ball. Good stuff. It's not flashy, but it allows for us to find guys with all the measurables flying under the radar, develop them, and retain them. And I think you're right there. But I think that if they're making a mistake at all in that Sooner race, it would be that you're trying to jump ahead and go a little too quick. You know, you have to kind of, some of these things, you're going to meld these two things together. You've got to be a little slower on it. The retention part, I think, was the problem that I've seen. I'm not bad-mouthing their approach. I think that it's going to be very good. I think it's the right way for you to go if you're Jim Nagy. But let me just kind of get into what he said, and that way we can kind of take it a little bit at a time on that. Basically, he said, we've got a grading scale we're going to stick to, a number-based grading scale. There's a color-based grading scale in the NFL. He thinks that apparently Oklahoma's going with the color-based. I don't know what that is. But it's going to dictate how we spend on players as well. Now, obviously, it's been 4 years now that you've had NIL that was basically, I like the way that they put it on SI.com. It was turned loose on college sports. So in many ways, NIL spending had become the Wild Wild West. Few rules, less oversight, and no enforcement. But NIL is still going to be in place, apparently with more guardrails. Again, I would tell you that wait and see how that goes. The first time that this Deloitte accounting firm says that an NIL deal is voided, it'll be back in court, and you know, there you go. There'll be a problem. Now, what Nagy basically explained on the show was that YOU isn't going to be out here slinging bags of cash around. If you don't have a structure in place, he says you're going to be all over the place with paying players, and the next thing you know, you're going to be over the cap. Just like we would in the National Football League, they're going to navigate compensation in real time, and then they're going to try to figure out how that works in terms of value. And in other words, what they've been saying is they're going to try to go out there and get a guy that grades, as far as they're concerned, the same as a five-star ranked guy grades for them. Now, the 5-star ranked guy, those dudes are going to be getting. You're basically going to be in competition with programs that can afford 5-star talent, the quote unquote 5-star talent. But if they have a same or similar grade on a 3-star guy as what they have on a 5-star guy, probably they're going to go after the 3-star guy because they're going to be up against G5 or even lower level Power 4 teams that are going to be recruiting them. In other words, if they grade that guy and say, "Hey, Jaden Jackson grades up high or higher than David Stone," we're going to go after Jaden Jackson because the price tags are going to be lower. We can develop them into what we want and still get what we need to be able to compete in the SEC. Now, this is a gamble if you look at it in terms of if you believe wholeheartedly in what it is that these ranking companies are saying. He was talking to Mark Ingram on there. This, of course, was that show that Mark Ingram, Urban Meyer, and I forget the other guy's name, do together that podcast. But he asked Mark what he was coming out of high school. Were you a big-time 5-star? He was not. He was a little herited 3-star. But after a big senior year, Nick Saban in Alabama offered him a scholarship, and that's how I got my 4-star, is what Ingram told him. That illustrated Nagy's strategy perfectly. He said, "I respect everyone that works at those services, but to put the stars on guys He said, I respect everyone that works at those services to put the stars on, guys. I really do. I mean, they have hard jobs to do as well, but we're not going to pay attention to any of that. We've been saying that. I've been telling you guys that a lot. I think what we saw this spring, which I think was a really good way to do it, is we graded players on our scale. And when you get to official visit season is when you see where you can get that value. Because I think what's going to set the market for a lot of these players in terms of what they're being paid and what agents expect to be paid is going to go by the star system. I think 5 stars want to get paid like 5 stars. So when you get into the OV season, we might have the same grade on a 5-star and a guy that's a 3-star. And when you look at what they're taking their OVs to, where they're taking their OVs to, if they're going to Ohio State, Oregon, Texas A&M, that's going to be a certain market. But then if the same graded player is getting offers from group of 5 schools, we know what direction we're probably going to go because you're looking for that value. Now, I think that what he's getting at is it's going to make a lot of sense more as you go along. But what I'll tell you is, and thank you for the super chat there, Crow. $10 super chat from my guy. Appreciate you a bunch, man. Appreciate you a bunch. Said you haven't been on for about 2 weeks. Dang. All right. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for that super chat. Oh, you're gonna whoop ass this year? Yep. Okay. No dead cap money. Bishop Frank, welcome in. CS 11-1. All right. I'm not gonna get that. I'm not gonna go there. 5-star guys are more ready to play now, but if your staff is going to do its job, they won't need freshmen to play now. Surprised that the 5-star wide receiver is choosing Syracuse over Michigan and others today. Listen, this is the fact that you're seeing that kind of stuff right now, right? Riley, that's smart because the fact that you're seeing that stuff right now is an indication that a lot of these programs are going to do it the same way I just told you that Nagy's talking about doing it. First and foremost, you got to look at supply and demand. And number one, I don't know that I believe that there's a whole lot of 5-star, even 5-star receivers that come in and are able to do the things that Ryan Williams and Jeremiah Smith were able to do last season as true freshmen. I just don't think there's a ton of those guys out there. Cam Coleman to some extent as well. All right. But that's the whole point. The Bagman's going to return. There's no doubt. But in the end, what you're going to see is the money that they have to, because you do have to adhere to that $20.5 million. And the truth be told, the football program at all of these schools is more going to see around 13 million, 14 million, somewhere in that area. It's like 75% of that revenue that they get is going to go to the football program. The rest has to go to the rest of the sports that you have, right? So you're going to see some of that happen. You get rid of the star system and you fix the money problem in colleges by 65%. I'm not exactly sure where you get that number from, but not that I don't agree with you. But where's that number coming from? Because what you do know is stars don't guarantee wins. The hard, relentless work does it. But hold on, though. And again, what you have to realize that we're in a kind of at a fork in the road here with college athletics. All the information that you have up until this point has told you that you have to have a blue chip rating, which is 4 and 5-star guys only. You have to have a blue chip rating of really it's 60 in the 60%, but there's been twice since 2000 that it's been in the 50s instead. One of those was, of course, Clemson with Coach Venables and Dabo Swinney and them, their first championship in 2016. The other one was 2 years ago when Michigan won. They were in the 50% blue chips. Now, I think that you may start seeing a little more of that. I don't know that it'll ever drop below 50% because I don't know that it'll ever drop below 60. And let me tell you why. I think that the first program that goes out there and uses say Oklahoma, for instance, and a lot of you folks are believing in Oklahoma, and you should believe in Oklahoma right now because the talent is in the building. I don't care what anybody's telling you from a lot of these other programs. You've got your Jeff Ketchums of the world out there telling them how they're recruiting like a JV team, blah, 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 blah. You can say that all you want. You look at the talent, you look at the defensive line, and you know that they are recruiting on a level that tells you they're capable of being a championship contender. Whether they do it this year or not, never mind that. But within the next 2 years, if they can keep this core of players together, right, particularly the offensive line, defensive line, they've done very well in the second, basically with the entire defense. They've done a really good job, though, in the trenches on both sides of the ball. They're going to continue to get good quarterbacks. They've got good quarterbacks that are being recruited, that are on their roster, that they've brought in through the transfer portal. John Mateer, right? They're still able to get high-level skill guys as well through the portal, through recruiting, etc. Right? Now, what's going to end up happening is, and I've told you guys this before, this is exactly what happened at Alabama too. If you listen to what Coach Saban said when he was on the Pivot podcast, they started it off talking about Bill Belichick and how much praise he was giving Coach Saban for the way he had done things his way at Alabama and throughout his collegiate coaching career. And he basically flipped it and said, look, everything we know about and everything we've ever done at the college level was based on his way of identifying talent. We wanted to be that size, that speed, that strength. Those are the guys that we went and got. Now, if you look at that first year, what was Mark Ingram just talking about? He was a 3-star guy, and he said getting the offer from Alabama gave him his 4th star. He was never going to be a 4-star guy until Alabama gave him that offer. You have to look at it in terms of this is exactly how things are going to be working and running at OU. Now, do you need to win with it? Sure you do. Do I believe you will? I do. I do believe they're going to win with it. I think that there's some things that they need to clean up behind closed doors. I think that there's certainly some things they need to clean up. And a lot of it will have to do with retention. I think there's some other stuff that they need to do a little bit better as far as the and this is something we hadn't talked about it a ton on the show. Not for a while anyway. But the facilities need to upgrade a bit. And that was something that they kind of backed off of the facilities upgrade whenever NIL got as big as it was. And OU decided to make as big of a investment NIL wise that they took that from the money that they were going to use to upgrade the facility. Now, with rev share in place, right? This is where I feel like this is where a lot of this money is going to start getting diverted into other places. You're going to have to put some of that money. I mean, there's just going to be money to put into these facilities, and they're going to have to do that, right? They're going to have to do that. But they're definitely going to have to figure out they're definitely going to have to figure out how they're going to go about it. Let me go back through here just a little bit. How do you get rid of a star system when it's a private enterprise? You don't. Okay, but that's a great question. The point, I'm not saying they're going to get rid of the star system. Make no mistake, those companies aren't just going to roll over and die. Now that that they have all these GMs and stuff basically doing their jobs better than they are. What they're going to do is they're going to start adopting the most successful. The most successful people that are out there recruiting the way that say Nagy is. If Oklahoma wins, then Jim Nagy and them, you'll get a star just because they gave you an offer. And if they land you and stuff like that, and they're a 3-star guy, they're going to immediately get bumped up to 4-star status so that they don't lose the blue chip ratio. And to some extent, they've already been doing that. That's what I'm telling you about with Alabama, with Georgia, with Clemson. Clemson's first national champ, as I said, they were in the 50% blue chip ratio. They're not in the 60s. That was back in 2016. It had taken, basically 16 years for that to be below the 60% level. Right? But again, if anything, I think that they've gotten probably a little better at scouting. I don't know that I want to put it that way. I know that they've found a better way of figuring out who's the best players and who's not than they had back in 2000 when Rivals first came on board, right? ESPN started being a big part of it at that point. It's not about them being able to see more and more and more. What it is now you see. Yeah, well, hold on. This is a good point. They don't want the system to work because it decreases their value, except for just like we've heard Shannon Terry talk about in the past, and he has talked about this in the past, that there's coaches that they're immediately going to defer to, and if they have a grade on somebody, their grade is gonna be at On3 or Rivals or whoever. It's gonna change accordingly, right? This is something that we talked about this on my video. I'm gonna have to go back and find that video and show that out again as well. As he talked about this with the high top guys because they were throwing a shit fit about Florida guys that they were 3 stars or maybe a low 4-star or whatever like that whenever they were committed to Florida. But if they flip and they go to Georgia, all of a sudden they bump way up. They're in the top 100 or the top 150 all of a sudden. Correct. No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. This is where the Jim Nagy plan will falter right here, is that when those effects, when they start giving kids a bump in the star rating because of that, then now you're going to have to be in the business of paying that money out instead of absolutely correct. And I was going to get to that, Marcus. I'm glad that you brought that up. I wish you could come in and talk about this with me because I think there's a lot of back and forth to this. Absolutely correct. It will bump their star rating up, which will bump their money up. Now you got more people that are doing that. In the end, what you have to hope for is that by that time you're winning enough that now you have more people, and this is where the bagman comes in. Now you're going to have more boosters and those guys willing to pay the extra money it's going to take to get a guy that's a 5-star, a la David Stone, etc. Right? Now, if you look back, and something that I liked on this story that they were talking about was Oklahoma has a bit of a spotty record when it comes to 5-star talent. Okay. Adrian Peterson, Tommy Harris, Gerald McCoy, Joe Mixon, they killed it as 5 stars, right? But they have a disappointing history when it comes to guys like Rhett Bomar. Caleb Williams left. I don't know that that's a disappointing history. That was going to be that was a good move. But Jackson Arnold, Spencer Rattler, Hazelwood, Jeremy Calhoun, Brandon Williams, Trey Matoyer. I would add in Theo Weiss to that group as well. That they've been pretty spotty in how they've played while they were at Oklahoma. Okay, I would guarantee you that that's a lot of it too. We hear a lot of that here on the show. You see a lot of it all over Twitter when people talk about, well, we haven't ever been good with 5 stars. That's not necessarily true, but I do understand what you're getting at. Not always have these 5-star talent guys been the best ones. Bomar was doing his thing. He got caught being a dumbass and with the way that he was getting paid. That wasn't really Rhett's, didn't have anything to do with his it didn't have anything to do with Rhett's talent. It had to do with the way that they went about that. Hey, looky here. Welcome into the show. Hold on just a second. Oh, dang it. I'm having an issue here. Oh, dude. Hold on. Let me fix it. Okay. I think I got it that time. Welcome into the show, Coach Ricks. What's up, my guy?
What's going on, dude?
Nada, man. Trying to, I guess, kind of get around this and explain why things are the way they are as far as the recruiting. It's kind of what we've been talking about, that things are going to change a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I think that it all depends on kind of like how it was at Clemson. Again, they were one of the only two teams out of the last 25 champions that weren't in the 60% and up 4- and 5-star caliber players on their programs. Now, you weren't going to see the way that Michigan did it was very similar. It was Jim Harbaugh believing in what he saw from a scouting perspective. And then I think the same was true with Clemson back. They didn't have those 5-star dudes on the D-line for that first championship. They did, but they weren't 5-stars because they weren't giving them that credit for that. As soon as they started getting, it's not like they changed their recruiting philosophies at Clemson. Those guys all of a sudden became 5-stars.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
or high 4s.
Well, they became 5-stars, man, because evaluating talent. And I think Marcus hit it right on the head, Coach Dent, is that when you start doing this, it starts to bump in the ratings and everything. Because as a coach and everything, man, we all want the 5-stars, but you're not going to always get the 5-stars. But there's a lot of guys that are 3-stars.
There's a lot of competition for those cats
that have the potential to become a 5-star. But if they're not going to the main schools, and let's just be realistic, if they're not going to the main schools, Jason, like your Alabamas, your Georgias, your Ohio States, Tennessees, and things like that, they don't get those stars. They don't get those stars and everything is because they don't go to some of the camps. They don't go to a school that has that stigma of getting 5-stars. I've seen a lot of guys, man, that come out of South Carolina. They go to South Carolina and they are 5-star material and 5-star talent. They don't get that 5-star because they go to South Carolina. If they go to Ohio State or Alabama, they get that 5-star or they get that 5th star. So I think it's kind of subjective. I think it's kind of a bias a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
When it comes to that. So
there's a bias towards the coaches that win, right? The coaches that are putting dudes in the NFL. And it's not even necessarily that it's a bad bias. Sometimes biases are positive biases.
Yes.
It's hard for me to sit here and tell you that Nick Saban didn't know what the fuck he was talking about and that those 5-stars were all bogus because they only got 5 stars because they played for Nick Saban.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that Nick didn't know what the hell he was doing. It means that he knew exactly what he was doing. And the recruiting services reacted accordingly to that and bumped up their ratings for his guys.
I know for a fact 3 players that played in the conference that I coached that went to the Nick Saban camp. And I know for a fact they were 3-stars. After that camp, they became immediate 5-stars. How and what the hell they did between the last day of the season to that camp, I don't know what the hell they did to gain 2 stars.
Well, that's not to say that they're never wrong on guys because everybody is. No. I mean, even at the NFL level, they miss on guys. There's a reason that the Cleveland Browns are perpetual shitty.
They can't evaluate talent.
They can't evaluate it. And when they get good guys, they get rid of them. You know what I mean? But the difference is you start seeing a lot of these things and you start talking about it. And it's like, okay, like for instance, Danny Okoye, right?
Yeah.
What was the biggest thing that people were saying about Danny? That he played for a homeschool program. Nobody cared about that. He was way, way down in the rankings, 3-star at best. And then he goes to the Alabama camp. And I mean, he was an Oklahoma State guy. He locked into Oklahoma State almost completely until all of a sudden, because his rating started going like this, because OU was on him. And in particular, he went to the Alabama camp and won the MVP.
Yep.
They said that Nick Saban was frothing over the guy. Like, holy shit, we need to get him in here. So then he becomes a top 100 kid. He didn't break into 5-star status, but he was a top 100 kid.
Mm-hmm.
At which time Oklahoma State stops recruiting him, essentially. That's the word that we've gotten from Danny himself. And basically, Oklahoma was going crazy on the recruiting him, and they ended up getting him. There's a reason that Coach Venables said that the 24K class was the best class he's ever recruited. It doesn't look like that on paper, even in terms of if you look at the 23 class. The 23 class was rated higher because they had multiple 5-stars in that class. 3 of them, as a matter of fact. The truth is, though, you got to look at who they got. They got Jaden Jackson, along with David Stone, along with Danny Okoye, along with Nigel Smith, who would have been a 5-star had he chosen Ohio State or A&M. Right? He would have become a 5-star if Larry Johnson lands him. Larry Johnson put 15 guys into first-team All-American status. He would have become a 5-star. So you start adding all this kind of shit up, and you start realizing that, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Now, if you go win a national championship in the next couple of years, now what's going to happen to those ratings? They're going to start skyrocketing as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like what I was saying with Florida. You know, the high top guys talked to Shannon Terry, had him on their show, and he admitted as much that yes, certain coaches they're gonna take their endorsement on a player and run with it. Now, there's also a bad side to that, because if a certain coach doesn't think that they're gonna get a guy, and all of a sudden they go and tell the recruiting service that, you know, well, hey, we're not recruiting them anymore because of XYZ. Now you could also see those things drop, right? Which is what Florida was saying about all of that shit, that they were dropping the other way. So, yeah.
I think it's a bunch of BS anyway, to be honest. We should not have no stars. I mean, at the end of the day, once you get to college, those stars go away anyway.
Oh, yeah. They don't mean shit. But according to the rank, hey, look, according to the end of the year, when all these champions, the last 25 of them, 60%, except for those 2 years, it's been over 60% of those players were either 4 or 5 stars.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So it's just, look, in the end, what is this fake date shit they're shouting? What you mean?
Shorty doing some of that backwoods stuff.
I don't know what that means, bro. Did you get stood up by a? Did you get? Oh, I don't even know if I want to delve into that.
You better leave it alone.
Let us know what you're talking about, bro. You're talking about Bob Stoops went to 5 national championship games. He did. Now, Crow, you got to realize that he lost all but one of those, though. But that will tell you that, why do you think it is, though? Think about this. They were getting a lot of 5-star talent, though. They continued to get 5-star talent all the times. Why? Because they were always in contention to win these things.
Yes.
Right? They were always in contention. Now, Brent Venables took what he knew as an Oklahoma guy and how they recruited there, and he used it there at Clemson, and was able to pick up new areas of where he could go down and win the services of people. And that helped turn Clemson. Make no mistake, Clemson is not what they are today if it's not for Brent Venables and his way of doing things.
For sure. For sure. They were nowhere near close to where they are now before he got there. The last thing we remember about Clemson is getting their ass dusted by West Virginia in the Orange Bowl before he got there. So Brent can't do no wrong here, but at the same point in time, Brent knew what to bring, what type of talent to go look for. The guys, the body type.
At that point, they knew what they were going up against as going in the BCS era, right?
Yes.
Right.
But having Wes Goodwin and those guys who know where to go look. See, the guys that Brent Venable wanted, they knew the landscape. They knew the East Coast. They knew exactly where to go and get those guys because they were familiar with the atmosphere and the area. Like I said, there's so much talent here, man. And you have Alabama, you have Auburn, you have Mississippi State, you have South Carolina, North Carolina, Clemson, all 2 or 3 hours from each other. But there's so much talent here, man. And they knew exactly where to go get it. So that's why I'm so high on when Wes got hired in. He is adamant about bringing that talent to Oklahoma, and I love that.
Yeah, listen, and I think that's as big a part as anything right here. You know, guys, look at this. I'm looking at the stream numbers here. We got 60 people on the channel in YouTube, 60 out of 125. That means half of you guys are on the YouTube stream, and we've got 15, 16
Hey,
likes.
hit that like button, man.
Come
Hit that
on,
like button.
man. Come on.
Every time I go into someone's show, even if I'm watching, I hit that like button just for the hell of it.
It's the right way to go about it, man.
Just for
It's
the
the right
hell
way
of
to go about it. We don't expect or ask for money. What we need you to do to help us out, and we're still trying to get to that 5,000 subscriber mark. You know, we got about 8 weeks left before the start of the season. We need to hit about 515 to get there. So hit the like button.
Man, I'm
You know?
excited. I can't wait till the season starts.
Me
Shit.
either. Real quick, we're gonna do, while we kind of got this short break though, I want to jump in. You guys need to make sure I got some new stuff coming from Fanatics. You got to get over there and check it out for the prices right now. Are you tired of your game day gear looking like it's stuck in the offseason? Well, step up your fandom with Hall of Fame College Football's official Fanatics partner store. Whether you're a diehard Oklahoma Sooners fan like myself, leading Crimson and Cream, or you rep another one of the SEC's heavy hitters, Fanatics has you covered. Shop thousands of officially licensed hats, jerseys, sideline polos, and exclusive championship merch from the entire Power 4 and Group of 6 too. All shipped directly to your doorstep and fast. Want to gear up like your favorite coaches and players? Are you looking for that perfect tailgate tee or a statement piece for your man cave? Fanatics is your one-stop shop for authentic college football gear from everybody that plays the game. So do yourself and your team a favor. Click our link in the description or simply log on to hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. And you can shop everything that you want for the best prices of the day right on our Fanatics partner page. All right, welcome back to the show. Yeah, Crow, you the man for that. That's why we love you. Make sure you hit both. If you hook us up on a super chat, make no mistake, we appreciate that very much so. But the easiest, the free way to help us out, make sure that you just hit that like button when you come in. Hell, you can hit the dislike button if you want to be a hater. We have people that do that for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
4 weeks until fall camp, another 4 after that, and we are in season, folks. That means we're as close. I mean, we're getting close now. So let me make sure what the latest count is. It is at, yeah, I think 4,488 subscribers. So we're 512 away. We're gonna have to move faster though than we've been moving. That's for sure. Shawty, what the hell? You know your boy in the streets. Yeah, I already know. Bro. I already be knowing.
He lived for the streets. That's what he said.
It's good stuff. All right. Best time of the year. This is the best time of the year. But again, as I was saying, that's what we've been talking about, a lot of this stuff beforehand. And you heard Chris Mason talking about it, that don't freak out if the ranking for OU is lower than what we're used to seeing it, even since Venables came back. Right? Don't freak out about it, because there's going to be, that doesn't mean that you're going to get different guys. I think there's a simple, easy example of what we've been talking about. You know, Brian Harris. You look at Brian Harris, and then you look at a guy like the guy they didn't get that went to Oklahoma State. Let's just hold on a second. Let me just pull up this thing here real quick.
All right.
Team rankings. So you got Brian Harris, who, according to the rankings, is, I want to say he's still a 3-star according to On3. He is. Yep. According to On3, he's ranked 465th in the country. Okay. He's 6'3", 285 though. Okay. Now, the guy that they didn't get, who was an Oklahoma guy, 6'2", 275. Right?
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't seem like a big difference, and it's not a huge difference. All right. But you're looking at he's rangier. They're looking at his body size and how much they're going to be able to stack that weight and how quick they're going to be able to stack that weight on him. Now, I would tell you that I expect him to be Rivals actually already had him as the number 21 guy at his position, and they've been added to the on 3 at stat. So it may change very quick for him. You might start seeing that change, right?
Yeah.
But even a guy like Bo Jandro, okay, Bo Jandro's rankings in the thousands as a linebacker. But here's the thing about linebackers when it comes to Oklahoma guys. Wes Goodwin, you were just talking about Wes Goodwin, and his identifying of players at that linebacker position is legit.
Yes. They're going to find out. They're going to find out, man. Like I said, look, we're not going to get all the 5 stars and 4 stars, man. Y'all got to realize
these guys, though, it's not even about that. You think about this. Brian Harris only cost X amount of money to go get him in the back because he's a 3-star guy, even though a lot of people believe that he's a lot better player than that. And I think that his ranking will reflect that by the end of the season when he goes out there and kills it. He's a Florida kid. You've got the Jandro twins are Arizona kids. There's a lot of really good talent that comes out of Arizona these days. And now that somebody's on them and has identified them, there's going to be a bigger spotlight on these players during their high school season, and more video will be seen of them as to what they are.
Yes. Looking like this, Jason, when you're evaluating talent, what are you looking for? That should be the main question what some of these coaches are asking.
Well, I'll just tell you, it's easy for me. I think the best one of the things that I seem to I identify pretty good talent when it comes to quarterbacks and stuff. As much as I've seen a bunch of quarterbacks, they're the easiest one to watch as a sports writer. You end up writing about quarterbacks and running backs and receivers and stuff like that. It's a little easier to identify that stuff. Now, your difference makers on the O-line, D-line, places like that, you're also going to find those dudes because at the high school level, they're just different than the rest of the guys.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They're just different. And they're different sizes and everything else too. So it's like, it's different. But I can just tell you the guys that I look at whenever okay, Marcus, hold on just real quick. Whenever I'm looking at a high school quarterback, one of the things I look at is their footwork. One of the things I look at is their ability to, their arm ability. What kind of arm do they have?
Their mechanics.
Their mechanics? Oh, yeah. And I would tell you, looking at Mateer, his mechanics would have thrown me off a little bit, but his ability to hit those shots wouldn't have bothered me so much for a college kid, right?
True.
John Mateer has weird arm angles and shit that he does that I can see why it threw a lot of scouts off and they didn't have him ranked very high. Now, one of the things that they probably should have done a little more of, and part of it too, was the fact that he played at Little Elm and they were shitty. They just weren't very good. They're getting their ass kicked because they're playing against Duncanville and some of these other programs that are beating the shit out of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a tough situation. Hold on real quick. I'm going to send this to Dan.
No, you good.
But anyway, it's like when you look at it, though, you start looking at different things, and arm talent has more to do with how far you can throw it. It also how do you throw guys open? Is your anticipation good? What does your football IQ look like? Those are things that you should be able to see in the film.
Yeah.
Those are things that you're a coach, this. Those are things that you should be able to see in the film, right? Yes. So it seems like to me, I remember guys like Chase Daniel, obviously Vince Young, dudes like that I saw them in high school. I go back to those dudes and I'm like, yeah, well, Vince Young, his athleticism, he could throw it way good enough that his athleticism meant that he was a 5-star talent kind of guy. Right? So was what was the guy that went to damn trying to remember the dude's name. It was Reggie something that went to A&M same time. Reggie McNeil, I believe. Quarterback as well.
Oh no, hold on. His name
It is
was
Reggie McNeil.
it's Neil.
I'm pretty sure.
McNeil, yeah.
Yeah. So you look at those dudes, and it was easy to tell that they were that kind of guy, right?
Yeah.
Now, by the same token, Chase Daniel won 3 state championships at South Lake Carroll. He was unbelievable. I don't know if he made it to 5-star or not, though. It seems like he was a 4, somewhere in that top 100. He was certainly a blue chip guy, but you could tell he was that dude. And it doesn't surprise me in the least that he made the career that he made in the NFL, not because he's the best thing since sliced bread, it's because the dude has a football IQ that pretty much at least matched his ability to throw it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you can't coach that, or you can't teach that. Either you got that or you don't.
Right.
And so you look for that. I look for athletes. I look for athletes and everything, because when you have an athlete and everything, you can pretty much mold them into what type of player you need. But that's just me and everything. So everybody's a little bit different. I'm pretty sure, because if I see down there, I'm pretty sure he's a little bit different. He get those big old boys down south and everything, man. He turn them into stallions and all that. So I don't know, Jason, man. This whole thing, man, is just subjective to me.
It is very subjective. It is very subjective. And I think that that's what you have to understand. And I'm glad you came in because what you were saying about it's going to change the way that the recruiting services look at it, which is going to screw around with your ability to get them on the cheap. I agree with that. As long as you win, you have to win first in order for that to work out. But I agree with you. But expound on that. Expound on that.
Well, I was just saying, you can evaluate the talent, and once you evaluate that talent, you get that kid in your roundhouse, and then all of a sudden, Texas, Ohio State, Oregon comes along and say, hey, look, this kid is pretty good. Hey, let's up the money on this kid. Now you're back to square one. So I understand exactly what they're saying about creating their own system, but when you do, and one of the woes of winning is everybody gonna say, okay, we used to be called what they call the Saban effect. You could be a 0-star. Once you got the Alabama offer, you went straight to the top. And so if Nagy is successful doing this, you're going to be right back at the same boat when it comes to money, because now that kid is going to become a high 4-star or a high 5-star. So you're going to be right back where you started. So I think there need to be another system in place. You might get away with that 1, maybe 2 years.
Well, that's what Mark Ingram was saying.
That's what
Mark Ingram was saying, though, is that he wasn't highly recruited and he was a 3-star until he finally got his offer from Alabama, and that bumped him to 4-star.
Correct.
Well, you know why, right? You know why. You give him that 4 and 5-star.
Because they know Saban's doing his job.
Well, not only that, you bump that up. Those low-level schools, they can't afford to give him what he really is worth. So all those top-notch schools, Ohio States, Alabamas, those Georgias, all those people, they got that money to give him what he want. But those low schools, they can't afford to take that. You take Mark Ingram, who else you gonna take? You don't have the money to take nobody else. Yeah. So some of these people, they boost these guys up so high that the low-level schools have no chance of getting this kid unless.
Well, Coach, this is something that they could do. You want to follow the NFL model, make it where your freshman can only make so much money.
Exactly.
And if you do that, then you level the playing field for everybody if you do that.
Yeah.
Instead of, Texas Tech just got a kid, offensive lineman, 3 years for 5.2.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
if you come in and say, hey, freshmen, y'all haven't done anything, you can only make $150,000, then guess what? That's fair across the board. Now you got a totally different thing going on. Those are the type things that I feel like in the system that needs to be fixed. You fix those type things. Those are really small things, but they're really big. So if you can come in and say, okay, freshman, you can't make but so much. Same way with the NBA, because in the NBA, that third year is where you make your money.
Yep. Rookie contract
So
goes out.
I think they need to adapt another system pretty similar to that.
Yeah. Hey, still only half the people watching aren't freeloaders right now. Come on. Hit the damn like button. Still only
Yeah.
half. Come on now. Hit the like button. What's up there, Smook? All right. No, yeah. I mean, look, in the end, all I'm saying is it's easy to sit here and talk about 5 stars and 4 stars and all that. And I'm not saying that those dudes aren't even what they should be. I mean, look, you can say a 5-star is overrated if you want to. I'm not going to say that because I believe that there's a reason why they hit that status, right?
Yeah.
They've been to the camps. There's enough dudes that have seen them that are saying, yeah, this guy's one of the best 30 players in the country. You know? So I'm not telling, and that doesn't mean they don't miss on these guys sometimes because they do. Sometimes those guys are busts. It's easier to be a bust as a 5-star than it is to be a bust as anything else, though, right? You don't have a bunch of 3 stars that have those same level of expectations, and then they don't really do anything once they get to town. But the point I'm trying to make is you have to realize, in the end, these dudes, there's a reason why they're doing things the way they're doing them. And it may only work out like this for a year or something. If Oklahoma goes and gets into the playoff next year, and they go and win a natty within the next 2 or 3 years, yeah, all of a sudden, when they recruit somebody, they're not going to be able to do it on the cheap anymore. However long that works out for him is however long that works out for him. Right?
Yeah, I agree with you. And like I said, about 2 years, I think that's going to be the deal. I think they'll be able to come in and get some kids under the radar in about 2 years. Then after that, it's going to be back to square one. You know, so they better enjoy it now because that's what they're going to have to do. And I love what he said. I just don't see how it's going to be sustainable long term. And that's pretty much it. Because right now you take a kid that, okay, a school says, okay, we going strictly by the rules. We're not gonna do anything different. All we're gonna do is this is the money that's allocated, revenue share, that's all you're gonna get. Well, guess what? Now you're gonna run some of those kids to some of the lower level schools that have money. There are some schools that are not P4s that have a lot of money. And they're not going to opt into it. They're going to do it this way because it benefits them more. So, man, it remains to be seen, man. It's a crazy situation. You know, you got revenue sharing supposed to hit already. I don't think our kids have seen any of it yet. I think they're still kind of working that out. But you know, it's gonna be different, man. Really, everybody's in the dark. You know, everybody think they know what's going on, man, but you don't know what's going on until everything drops that day. So, but it's gonna be interesting. I like how they're doing things. I like how they're saying, "Hey, look, come earn your keep." I've always been a component of that. You know that. I've always been a component of that, and always will. So, you know, if that's the step that they're taking, I'm 100% with it, bro. 100% with it.
You can't be a kid that don't want to come in and compete to try to earn that. If you're a kid that don't want to
Rich,
come
I'm gonna tell you this too. I'm gonna say this, man. I get what you're saying, but let's go back. Let's go back to it. Some of this stuff being a 4 and 5-star, this is life changing money for some of their families. So we forgetting about that.
Yeah.
So these kids are going to get, and they're going to expect the highest amount of money. Look, Sacramento State just got one of Mississippi's highest rated kids yesterday. This kid had LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Oregon. I mean, he played in the Under Armour game. He went to Sacramento State. You know why? Almighty dollar.
Get that money. Get that money. And
you know, I mean, you talking about this, coach. A kid he goes and get $150,000 to play, which is great money. But if he could go somewhere and play for a year and make $400,000, and then transfer out of there and get to a better program,
Program. Yeah.
then guess what, man? He has won, especially for his
Yeah.
family.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm never
you
gonna.
can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, and
No.
that's what they're trying to do.
And I'm all for that. I mean, I've being a player and a coach. I think I'm kind of biased at times. It's because I try to make it make sense, but at the same point in time, there are no guidelines in place for us to try to make it make sense. If that makes sense by me saying that, I think a lot of
Yeah, it
times and
does.
everything, man, we try to make it make sense to people, and then the mighty dollar, as you say, wins every single time. And I'm all for a kid getting his money. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. I'm never going to tell a kid don't go get your money, because you may not never get a chance again.
Yeah, I mean it's. I remember last year being at the spring game, and I was talking to one of the coaches, and there was a kid that Oklahoma was high on. I can't remember who he was, and they was like, "So you're gonna turn down coming to Oklahoma to go over there?" And this is what the kid said. He said, "I don't feel like I'm NFL talent. I do not feel like I'm NFL talent. God had blessed me to be where I am right now. Oklahoma offered me a great deal, but somewhere else is offering him damn near 6 figures more. Well, it was 6 figures more. He's going to go there and play, graduate, and put that money in his pocket and invest and go ahead on about his business."
Hmm.
You got some kids are making business decisions like that.
Yeah,
And don't forget about that. That's every kid is not the same. So
true.
when you go recruit a kid, you gotta his financial status at home may have a lot to do with whether he come to your school or not. And that's kind of how it was with Isaiah and I. I mean, we could have went
Oh,
other places for more money. We didn't because we wanted to be up on the Coach Bean Bowl.
Eden Bowl, and we've talked about that a ton. Real quick, Moose said, "When the hell you hear me talking about Oklahoma winning the Natty this year? You ain't heard me say that shit once, because I don't do all that." Are they in a position where they might be able to win a Natty in the next few years? Yes. Am I predicting it for now? No, I'm not. I got to see it much better than I saw a year ago when they went 6-7 before you start hearing me talking about Oklahoma national championship shit. Nope. So, do they have the talent to be able to go and compete to get in the playoff?
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah,
Do they have
definitely.
the
They have the
talent to be
talent.
able to go
They
and
stay
compete and
healthy.
theoretically win a natty? Sure.
Yeah.
But don't get it twisted. I got to see it first, folks. I got to see the shit first. Relax. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nah. I'm just saying that they definitely have the talent to do that, to go in the playoffs and I think make a good run. But you know I'm a realist, man. I'm not one of those sunshine pumpers. I know what we got. I feel like we have a 9-3 football team. Um,
Possibly
and,
better, but at least
yeah,
9-3 is where you're at.
yeah. I feel like we do, and we win the right ones, and um, I think we still have. I think we have that possibility. So it's just what we are. We got to stay. We can't have the injuries that we had last year. That's for sure. Um, I think if we get over that injury bug and Material plays the way I think he's going to play, and the defense steps up to the plate and do what they're supposed to do, what they have done, over the last year, then that'll just be we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
I think everyone is scared that we're scared of playing the schedule. I think the schedule is the schedule. You can't be scared of playing
Oh
that
man, I'm
schedule.
not. You can't.
Y-
I mean, hey, the oldest saying in the book, they put their pads on the same way you do.
Yeah.
So you just got to go and do it, get it done. Can't worry about who you playing, when you play them. You just when that Saturday day or night rolls around, you just got to be ready to go out there and take care of business. Uh, but like I say, I think the coaching staff um, at Oklahoma, you have to tip your hat to them. All
Yeah.
those guys, offense and defense, man, they've done a great job on recruiting. And I know everybody's giving Nagy his praise, and he's done a great job in the portal. But high school guys, that 25 class, that's pretty much those coaches, and I have to give them the praise for doing what they're doing. I think the relationship between Nagy and the coaches, I think that marriage is going to be just fine. Um, you know, especially with Nagy, I see him more. It's just me. I see him more of rebuilding out of the portal because he's close to that edge with those guys. He's done the Senior Bowl and he's worked in the NFL. And when it comes to the high school guys, um, yeah, you just take Coach B, man. Look what he has in the NFL. So you can't wave off, his judgment on players. Same way with Emmett Jones. We had a rough patch with the receivers, man. But if you take away the injuries and get everybody back healthy, man, Emmett Jones has done a hell of a job.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
With the receivers, it's just
Emmett Jones is
he
one of
he,
those guys
he
who's gonna be
can't
a head
stop him
coach
from getting
before too
hurt.
long. He's gonna
You
be a head
know,
coach before too long. Emmett Jones.
yeah,
He's that guy. He's that guy.
he is. He is that guy.
Well, I don't want people to think that Nagy is the only one doing this. This coaching staff is putting those guys in Nagy's wavelength
They've
to where
already been
Nagy can
doing this.
go and see these guys. These
They've already been
coaches,
doing this. Think about it. What
yes,
I just say about
yes,
the 24K class.
yeah,
The 24K class, Venables will tell you it's his best recruiting class he ever had, ever.
yeah.
The year
So
before, according to On3 and 247 and them, the year before was heads above the 24K class. We know damn good and well that's not true here.
Mm-mm. I don't think so. I mean,
It's not
there,
close.
there was some
Marcus,
some
it's
good
not
guys
close.
in the 23 class, but the 24
There were.
class is deep.
There was PJ.
Um,
There was that class was carried by 3 5-stars. PJ, Peyton, and then of course Jackson Arnold being a 5-star.
right.
And they were
Yeah.
loaded. Don't get me wrong. They were loaded other places. You got guys. A lot of those guys are gone though. Makari Vickers was the top 100 guy. He's gone now. You had guys like Lewis, the linebacker, who was the top 100 guy. He's gone now. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood, the running back. Hollywood, he's gone now too. Another top 100 guy. But a lot of those guys were top 100 dudes, and they would tell you that those dudes that was the better class. If you're looking at the rankings, if you don't go deeper than that and look at all of it, then you wouldn't know. Go look at the 24K class and tell me that the 23 class was better, because you can't do it if you go man for man. There's no way you can do it.
I think you're gonna see, and I said this when Isaiah and them came in. I said 2026 should be the year for Oklahoma. I mean, natty wise, if everything goes
I
straight
was always
with
saying
those,
25 until last year, and then it kind of threw it off. I think 25,
yeah,
26
I said
should be their
26,
best
man.
teams. Should be their best teams without a doubt.
Yeah, should be there. Should be one of the best teams. I mean, you're gonna have to do a great job on retention. You're gonna have some kids in that 24K class. This is gonna be their second year, so they have to work on keeping those guys, which I think they will. I think since he's, and I'm talking about Jim Nagy. I think since he's been here, I think things have changed a lot in his mindset when it comes to how things should be done. I know he had a plan coming in, but you come into a situation, you have a plan, but then you start seeing different things. You're like, okay. I'm gonna have to pivot right here and do something different. And those are the things.
Well,
He didn't say that when he first came in about the 5-stars. That just come out a couple weeks ago. So now he's seeing, okay, I know how we're gonna have to shift our money.
right.
So sometimes it takes you just a little bit when you get your feet wet to kind of say, okay, I kind of know what I need. So I kind of think that's what he kind of, he's kind of like, okay, I see some things, and this is where we got to pivot.
Hey, Spangler, okay. You know what, you think what you want. I said in my estimation, you can say whatever you want. When you look at Alabama, what they have defensive line wise, what they have all the way across their defense, their offensive line probably is, if not number one in the country, is definitely in the top 5 in the country offensive line wise. They've got a quarterback that can throw, and
You talking about Alabama?
Alabama, yes.
Oh yeah,
They have
yeah.
they've got an unbelievable backfield, and they've got a quarterback that can throw to one of the best receivers. Only just talking about Ryan Williams. Forget about the guys Jeremy Bernard and some of those other guys that they got in that room as well. You can say what you want to say. Year 2 with Kalen DeBoer, everywhere he's been has been unbelievable. So believe
Dude,
what you want, think what you want. I'm going to go by what I've seen in the past from Kalen DeBoer and the fact that they still have the best roster talent in America, top to bottom.
Yep.
man, I'm gonna tell you, I live literally about an hour and 30 minutes from Tuscaloosa,
Right.
and I'm telling y'all guys, they loaded.
They're
I'm
loaded
just
to
gonna
the
be
gills,
honest with
bro.
you.
Come
There's
on.
no Jason. You hit everything you said. Jason is pretty much dead on right. And you look at Caleb. You just look what he has done in year 2, everywhere he's went. I'm talking about all the way down
The guy's
from
lost 15 games out of 130
right.
as a head coach. What are we fucking talking about?
They got to get this Saban shit out of their head. That's the only reason.
Well, and I understand all that, man. When you've got a guy like anybody who follows Nick Saban, that's an unenviable position to be in, right? Except for the loaded room that you got. Dwayne John asking about what about not getting Oklahoma players? I think you have to look at this on a year-to-year basis, Dwayne. If this continues to be a thing, then you can start talking about it. What I know is this. Here's coming from Chris Mason, who pays a hell of a lot more of attention to recruiting than I do. And we listen to what he says because he's got he's an insider when it comes to that stuff. Believe it. He knows what he's talking about. Chris Mason said this. They were really only locked on 2 guys from Oklahoma this year in high school recruiting. 2. Now they didn't get any of those guys, but next year they're after 10. Next year they're after 10. Look, Oklahoma State can pound the shit out of their chest with their 0-9 Big 12 asses all they want to about who they got from Oklahoma. They can do that all year. Next year, when Oklahoma has 10 guys targeted that they're trying to land, and they're going after all 10 of those dudes, then we'll see how well you do, Okie Light. Then we'll see. Am I concerned about Oklahoma recruiting? I'm not. Because we all know that Coach Venables has said he wants to own the state of Oklahoma. And every team that is a very good program in the country wins their state more times than they don't. And if you look at the last 4 years of recruiting, Oklahoma has dominated the state of Oklahoma in recruiting. Period. End of story. The truth is they've got a new GM. They're working their way around that stuff, but from what he knows, Mason said it. They've locked in on 10 guys for next year. 10 in the state of Oklahoma. Now, what might that do to your recruiting ranking though? Because all these people that are worrying about that are also going to worry about whether or not we're ranked in the top 5 or not, or in the top 10. And that could hurt your recruiting ranking if you don't win a national championship this year and all of a sudden those guys shoot up the ranks because you're recruiting them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a give and take with all of this stuff, and you have to take it all into all of it has to be taken into consideration. Context is key, folks. Context is key.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and like I said, man, that's one reason I think that Oklahoma is. I think they got it. I'm not gonna say they 100% got everything figured out, but they're in the right room making the right choices right now for the program. So, I mean, you got to play. Everything has to play out on the field. We can do all this and don't play out on the field, then people are going to be looking at this model and say, okay, that's not the right model. But here I say, I feel like it will. Like I said, just knowing what we got in the room, quarterback, running back, receivers, offensive line is going to be a whole lot better more experience. They bigger, you know. Shit. Damn, they got on Isaiah. His ass had to lose some damn weight. He had got up to damn near 330, you know. So, I mean, they're working their asses off, man. So they're not gonna be a team that's gonna be pushed around. I can tell you that right now. Everybody that they play is gonna be like, shit, man, I hope I don't see them son of bitches again.
And
So
then and
that's gonna be win, lose, or draw. That's gonna be what they say when they get through playing. And that's just that BV mindset.
no, we were talking about that a few days
Yeah, you
ago.
guys, y'all keep on saying you
Oh yeah, about
they
the
don't play
board. I
big
mean,
boy
look, man.
football. They punched big boy football Texas in their mouth at Washington a couple years ago, did they not? That was year 2. That was year 2 at UW. When he got there, they had went 3-9 the year before that. 3-9.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we were just
What are
talking
we
about that
talking about?
yesterday at the cookout about the offensive line of Oklahoma. And it's funny that my brother-in-law and everything, man, he was like, everybody's taking notice. They're just not saying shit. They're just not saying anything because everyone knows that Oklahoma had a bad year last year. All the real people know they had a real bad year.
Sure they did, but if you go back and look at why they had a bad year, it's not that hard to surmise that it could be a damn sight better in year 2.
And here's the thing get me with a lot of the talking heads. I told you they were gonna go 6-6, and they went 6-6. Yeah, but you ain't telling why they went 6-6.
Yeah.
The reason that they said it was gonna go 6-6 is not the reason why we went 6-6. And that's something that, every time one of them get on there, man, they gloat about being right about the 6-6 deal. If you do not have 11 damn injuries, you don't go 6-6.
No.
Point blank.
No.
Now it could be a blessing and a curse because, hey, look, you win 8 ball games, Jackson Arnold is still at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you don't know how that's going to go.
It's another thing.
So you have to look at that too, and the fact that Jackson Arnold, as I said, was scared of his own fucking shadow.
Oh yeah. Well, if you go back and watch
up 7 with 2 minutes left, and you lose in regulation because of them, you can blame the offensive line if you want to. That didn't have shit to do with the offensive line. Nobody was about to tackle him when he fumbled that fucking ball.
Yeah, it was just he did protect the football. He did protect the football.
Hey, 12 fumbles and 13 starts, along with 6 interceptions.
That's a lot.
That's a fuckload of freaking turnovers.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a lot of the sacks.
They lost some of them.
A lot of the sacks that was given to the offensive line were design run plays. Ole Miss, we gave up like 7 or 8 sacks, but what it was is just they got hit. He didn't pull it in time or whatever situation was, but I want to say about 4 or 5 of those deals was he just got hit behind the line of scrimmage with the ball in his hand, not trying to pass the football. So, like I said, man, that's either here or there. We passed his ass. We'll see it in the 4th game of the year. That defense gonna be fired up. They're gonna get in that ass. And the thing about it is he's gonna be scared shitless. I don't care what nobody say.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be scared shitless because number one, you got a defense and a defense coordinator that know your ass like the back of his hand.
Yes.
I think that, and I think when it comes to underestimating Alabama, and look, I'll give you this part. Kalen DeBoer doesn't fit what you would expect for a coach coaching in the SEC. No ties to the SEC, no ties to the South per se, whatever, right? But the truth is they didn't lose a ton of dudes. Aside from that initial, right after Saban left, you lost quite a few guys. They've retained most of their program from this year. from this past
Yeah.
year. They've retained them all. The guys that they wanted to keep around for sure. Look at where they're recruiting right now. Go to the look. I mean, all you got to do is go look at the damn recruiting numbers. You know, they're what? They've jumped to number 5. They have 5 5-stars. 5. They have more 5-stars at Alabama right now than anybody else in the country, and it's really not that close. The closest to them is 2. There's a few teams that have 2 each.
Dude, Alabama's gonna be Alabama.
Alabama is still doing what Alabama does. Their ranking, their average ranking is over 92.
Well, and I'm gonna tell you another thing. When you brought in Caleb, he got guys that been with him for a long time, and those guys, they know what they want. You know, they hadn't played in the SEC, but they played against SEC teams. You know, they know what they're looking at, man. So, hey, like I said, we got a tough one on their homecoming.
Spengler talking about FSU covering the 12.5 week 1 against Bama. I might have agreed with you if Castellanos wasn't running his fucking yapper.
I don't know about all that.
Yep. I don't know why he was doing all that. They are at home. I think that maybe they do stick within that 12.5. Maybe they do. And here's the thing about Bama. Ty Simpson, my question about Alabama would be this. Is Ty Simpson that guy? I understand he was a 5-star dude. I don't know that he is. I think that right now.
I don't think he was going to be good early on, Jason.
I think he better be good early on, because if he isn't, I think he can.
Well, let me rephrase that. I don't think he's going to be a game changer. I'm going to have to take one from Cam Newton. I think he's going to be a game manager early on.
Well, and that's turning into a bad word, and shouldn't be a bad word. You need them to manage the fucking game, especially early in the season.
It is. I think maybe mid-season when he gets his feet wet, I think you'll see a different guy once he get his feet wet.
Oh yeah,
he'll be ready by the time we play him. I can tell you that much.
And that's what people don't realize. If we would have got them young, got them in the first few weeks, maybe. Yeah. But the longer the season goes on, that young man's gonna get better and better and more confident. Yes. That timing is gonna get a lot tighter, and you're gonna start dropping those dimes. I don't think people really realize. They just see Oklahoma plays 8 new quarterbacks. They don't see when they play them. They don't know who plays who before what. So
I've said that. I've said that before. You know, it's when you play them.
Yeah.
You know, you play them late on in the season. Well, hell, man, if you play somebody that's 7 or 8 game, hell, they got all the damn bugs out.
You season.
You season.
You ready to go.
So, it's just, man, it is what it is, man.
I got Drew going out on a limb. I give Bama a 50% chance of having a terrible year. Way to go out on a limb, bro. Shit.
But Jason, man, I'm gonna have to get out of here. Man, I just want to come in and drop my 2 cents, man. I ain't been on in a while, but I'm here in Norman at Isaiah's apartment. I mean, Isaiah's house, so just chilling. You see him in the kitchen. Let's eat.
I saw that. I was like,
yeah, man. So yeah, I appreciate you guys, man. I'm gonna catch up with you, Jason. I appreciate you having me on, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you coming.
All right,
take care, big
dog.
dog.
All right, peace, man. Y'all be easy.
Yes, sir.
Marcus Dent, big cuz. Appreciate you coming on, my man.
Let's
see.
I gotta get
hey, man, no, I don't agree with you. I'm telling you that I think Alabama's one of the top teams in the SEC this year, and I think that 9-3 last year, people were acting like they fucking went 6-6. They went 9-3 with a brand new coach and a new system of doing things on both sides of the ball, and they lost a game to Oklahoma on the road, which can happen. And you lost it. Okay, they lost the Vanderbilt game. You know what? Vanderbilt's owned the state of Oklahoma at least Diego Pavia has owned the state of Oklahoma for the last 2 years. It is what it is. I'm not telling you that they're guaranteed going to continue being what they are, but if you think that all of a sudden that they're just trash when it comes to their roster, I think you're out of your fucking mind. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention. No. No, you're not. You're not going out on a limb. No, you're not going out on a limb. You're going out there acting like you're hedging yourself. You want to talk shit, but you won't go full out there and talk enough shit. That's what I'm telling you, Drew. You won't go out there and talk all that shit. You want to talk your shit, but you don't want to talk your shit because you know that you may end up looking like a dumb shit, especially when you come back to this program if Alabama goes out there and wins 11 games and goes deep in the playoff. Damn right. Come on, bro. Coach Ricks, what's up there, Hamilton? He says, what's good? What's good? Hey, man, appreciate you coming in, Big D. I liked seeing you on with Coach Ricks the other night, too, man. The other night.
He had me dying laughing, man. He had me dying laughing.
He's a trip, man. He's a trip.
Man, that show, man, is getting it's getting a little bit better than I thought it was going to get.
Yeah. They are Bama, and last year's about as bad as it gets. Yeah, they lost. I mean, we're talking about the games they lost. Look, Oklahoma by that time of the year, look, they did not look good the next week against LSU. You can put that on Joe John Finley. They went away from Kevin John's game plan that beat Alabama.
Yep.
And they went back to whatever you want to call what Joe John was doing against LSU. And they were winning that game too. It just is what it is. Who's making an argument for FSU in the opener against Alabama? Oh, no, they're going to get their ass whipped. Will OU win 8 games this year? Yeah, I think that's their low.
Man, people don't realize how good Oklahoma's going to be.
They don't. That guy's talking smack too. It's one of those Tide fans that comes in here running that mouth. That's all he does, though. And no disrespect to Alabama. Nobody in here is disrespect. Well, I shouldn't say nobody in here is disrespecting Alabama. There's people in the chat that are damn sure disrespecting Alabama. It ain't me.
I told Bishop, if that is a day game, OU has a chance. If that's a night game, it's gonna be hard.
Bama?
Yeah. It's gonna be hard.
It's gonna be a night game.
Well, it's gonna be hard as hell.
It's going to be a night game. It's their homecoming. It's
someday homecoming. It depends on what their record is.
They got their ass handed to them in Norman. As long as Oklahoma looks good starting the year, I think at that point the most they could have would be like 2 losses.
Okay.
And I think that Alabama's probably going to be about right there too, at 1 or 2, maybe.
I think so.
That's a night game, bro. It's Alabama. Man, just the fact of them losing to OU last year I think it's not going to matter. They're going to put that one on at night because it's the end of the year. We're talking about last 2-3 weeks of the year. That's going to put that in one of those. That's a primetime game because there's going to be jockeying for position. Whether both teams are jockeying or one team is jockeying for the position, one of them is going to be there.
I wonder what other game that is that day.
Nobody actually knows how college football is going to play out. Well, we know that you don't know much, Drew. We get it. Dwayne wants to know if I want to sick him on you.
No, man, Dwayne.
Dwayne was all up in his Kool-Aid last week. He got all in his Kool-Aid last week.
Dwayne, man, man, it's some jokesters, man. They jump on the podcast, man. They're some good guys.
Yeah. So far, we own the state of Alabama since joining the SEC. Yeah, but that's all we own, though. That's it. So I mean, again, you're not gonna get me in here. You're not gonna get me in here telling you guys that Oklahoma's gonna win the national championship, folks. Just not gonna do it.
No.
Because
even if we know we wasn't gonna say that.
No, I think they could be a year or so away. I think they have an opportunity to have a special season. They have an opportunity to have a special season. But having that opportunity, look, there's also a long line of dudes that they got to play from week 7 on that are rough. That's the last 7 games of the year. When you look at the last 7 games of the year, 6 of those teams are probably going to be top 25. Maybe 5.
True.
You will have already played more than likely 2 other top 25 teams, because Michigan is a top 25 team. A lot of people expect Michigan to be right back where they were. You know,
Harbaugh was there.
Yeah, listen, and when you get a guy like Bryce Underwood, the expectations are high. I think it's tough for them to come and beat. Now, I'll tell you, I think Oklahoma's going to beat Michigan because it's in OU, it's at OU, and Brent Venables is going to send a lot of things that there's no way that Bryce Underwood will be able to see it coming his way. There's no way. There's not enough film for him to be able to see that shit coming his way. I'd be lost without you, Drew. You do think an awful lot of yourself. And Saturday nights, you've always been sipping, bro. Come on, bro.
The one thing that you would like for a young quarterback to do is get happy feet. If he gets happy feet and he wants to try to run to make things happen, he's pretty much playing in your hand. That defense is going to be aggressive. That defense is going to be active. And when they sub in and sub out, they're not going to lose shit. So there is no fall off. And the guys that they bring in are going to be a little bit more hungrier than the ones that's in there. So,
yeah,
thank God we're getting him early. But I think that's going to be for everyone, man. I just don't see the threat like everybody else sees. I think that the schedule is the schedule, but I think that we are built for this. This defense it all depends on how good our offense is. If our offense, Jason, is in the top 10 or 15, Oklahoma going to be dangerous.
Yep. And Dave's here. I know you're a Michigan guy. And here's what I'm going to say to you to that. Your running game is going to be scary good. Okay. I'm going to tell you this. It ain't going to be scary good against this defensive front.
Shit, they're going to want you to run. They're going to want you to run.
Try to run. Nobody ran. The best anybody had was a 200 total yards rushing game. And one guy, the best anybody had against Oklahoma last year, one guy, I think it was probably Trey Wisner. And he had, 120?
Something like that.
So I'm just going to tell you, you're not going to have a big-time running game against OU's defensive front. You're not. So that means Underwood's he's going to have to light it up throwing the ball, and good luck with that too because of the pressure. The pressure's coming from a lot of places. That's all I'm saying. In my opinion, Oklahoma, they better win that game. It's a good measuring stick game, I think, for both programs. Really good measuring stick game for both programs. But I think that Oklahoma needs to win that game. They very much need to win that game. And nobody in the state of Oklahoma is going to be happy if they don't. I'm going to tell you that now. Going to 2-4 because both defenses are very good at have everyone else. Yeah. It should be. And listen, I definitely agree with you that the defense at Michigan is legit. But I think Oklahoma's I think their continuity as far as quarterback and OC, the amount of talent that they have, I think that they should be able to manage enough offense. Especially if you guys can't keep your offense on the field.
I've watched a lot of that Michigan defense. They love to play man-to-man. You cannot play man-to-man against Oklahoma in this Arbuckle defense. Offense. Yeah. You're gonna get tired too quick. Slant routes, cross routes, all across the field. You can't guard that for 6-7 seconds. And then you got Arbuckle and Batir running the ball where you just left from. So it's going to be very interesting seeing this play out the way that I think it's going to play out. But I think Oklahoma wins by 10. About 10 is right.
I hope they do. I think there's a world that Oklahoma could run away with it. There's also a world in which it comes down to the wire, you know?
Shit, the defense could score 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think people, man, are really overlooking this defense.
So the Michigan odds, somebody was just asking, Oklahoma's favored by 2.5 overall. MGM has them by 3.5.
That
DraftKings,
line's gonna pick up.
yeah,
before the
DraftKings
season
and
comes.
stuff has it. It's like +4. I think FanDuel's at 4.5. I think it all depends on who you're looking at. And this is, I usually go with Vegas Insider. I've always used Vegas Insider since I lived out there. They've got it at +2.5. The over under, wow.
That's what I took. It's in the 30s.
Get the whole matchup here. So yeah, where the hell is it? They don't have an over under yet. The total.
I thought
They don't have a total on it yet. At least not on this one. But it's going to be low. It's probably in the 50s, I would bet, or lower even. What do you think? Let's see. Let's go to, well, shit, what am I thinking? Matter of fact, let's do this real quick. While I'm looking, I'm going to go to where you should be checking out all this shit, my bookie.
Yep.
Hey, Jason Watkins here with Hall of Fame College Football. And if you are ready to back your favorite team, the Sooners, and fade that Texas hype train every Saturday this fall, there's only one place to do it, my bookie. Right now, you can double your first deposit up to $1,000 when you sign up at hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. That's hofmedia.us/mybookie1000. Yep, 100% deposit bonus, and it takes less than 5 minutes to get started. Whether you're betting college football, rolling the dice in the online casino, or dropping a 10-leg parlay on SEC Chaos, MyBookie has everything you need. Bet anytime, anywhere, on the go, at the tailgate, or yelling at the refs from your couch. Just don't talk trash. Put your money where your mouth is. Hit that link, hofmedia.us/mybookie1000, and get your deposit bonus today. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie and Hall of Fame College Football. Okay.
The over and under is 53.5.
53.5? Yeah. That's what I figured.
Yep.
I was still looking. My bookie wouldn't let me in. Damn rap bastard. Okay. Yeah, here we go. No, I'm in now. Here we go. Yep. They're showing, 53 is what I've got on my bookie.
Yeah.
But that's still, I mean, I feel like you're in pretty good shape there with that. But that's a good, that tells you that both are defensive teams. There's a lot of college football games. They're going to be in the 60s and shit on there over and under. 60s, even 70s a lot of times. Seems a little high. Drew thinks it seems a little high. Yeah, I don't know. I think you figure that 53.5, 53, that's like 27, 24. It would be over that. You know, that'd be 60 points.
How many points?
Basically, you get a 28. You get a 28 to 20 game. You know,
how many points can Underwood get you?
I don't know. I don't know that they get to that 20. I don't think they do. I'll be honest with you. I think that their best chances is that it's an under, that it gets under. That would be my question. Because I don't know. I think they're gonna struggle running the ball, which puts the onus on a brand new quarterback, a true freshman quarterback. As talented as the kid is, I think you're gonna struggle if you got to do it all against this team. You probably haven't seen the style of defense Michigan plays. It's a different style that moves around that isn't seen very often. Similar to what Brent Venables does, you mean? They do see that. I like your coach. Listen, I'm a fan of the way that they play defense at Michigan. I'm a fan of the way they do things at Michigan. I'm not even talking shit about Michigan, just so you understand. I think if there's a reason for Oklahoma to feel like they should win this game, and the reason that the expectation levels are super high here, because Brent's in trouble. Brent's in trouble with this damn program. He needs to win that game. that would go a long ways on the rest of the season. You lose that game early in the year, especially with all the SEC Big Ten talk that's going to be going back and forth and already is. You lose that game early on at home, that seems like a missed opportunity if you're OU. True. Especially when you have a freshman quarterback and that, you got, what did they go 7-5 last year? I mean, it's it's better than what OU did, but it was playing not the same type of schedule either. But not to take anything away from them, they beat Ohio State for the fourth straight year. They did beat Alabama in the bowl game. No hate here. No hate here. I'm not hating on them.
Hey, so in Texas,
it's important for Oklahoma to win that damn game. No doubt.
10 points ain't much. 10 points ain't much. He said 10 points is a lot for Michigan.
Oklahoma's not facing any dominant boogeyman in 2025. We'll make the playoffs with a talented team. Okay, Moosehead, if they turn around and lose that game week 2, what's your thoughts then? I'm just saying, bro. That's all. What are your thoughts on that, though, Coach Ricks? What do you feel like is going to happen in that football game? I want to hear your opinion.
First 2 halves is going to be real tight. I think it's going to be similar to the Tennessee game. I'm going to be honest. Similar to the Tennessee game.
In what way?
In what way the defense is going to dominate on one side.
Points are going to be hard to come by early.
Points going to be hard to come by, but it's that second half when Arbuckle and Kevin Wilson go in there and try to figure out some things. That defense is not going to alter. That defense is not going to change for Oklahoma. And I don't know if Michigan has that many weapons on defense that could sub in and sub
really
out.
Good in the trenches. Also, their secondary's been very good.
Yeah. But this is how you expose the secondary. I'm just being honest. You asked me for my opinion. I'm going to be honest. When you start doing double routes and then you start asking your linebackers to guard Ott, Xavier, Blaylock, Tatum in the outfield in open space.
Sure.
That's dangerous.
That's a game where Cannon could be a big
cheat code.
A playmaker, right?
Yeah. So I think if you start doing that, it opens the playbook a little bit more. So now you're having those guys, those linebackers cheat out a little bit more outside the tackles. Now you can start running that ball in between the gut, and now you got to pick your poison. So it's going to be a very close game up front, the first few halves. But I think Oklahoma in the third and fourth quarter pulls away.
Okay, Dave says both are offenses that sucked balls last year, and Michigan was a playoff team with a quarterback. Okay, well, you could say the same thing for Oklahoma, though. If Oklahoma's offense wasn't missing their top 6 receivers, they played 9 different offensive line combinations throughout the season out of 12 games, 9 different combinations. And they lost at least 5 games that they could have won. Let's say they win 2 of those, that's 8 wins instead of 6. Then I'm talking 2 out of 5, which very easily they could have won 2 out of 5 and should have won 2 out of 5. I mean, you can just say Navy and Missouri. There's no reason why that should have happened. But in the end, you still had to come out and prove it. And something that Drew said, I wouldn't put that much pressure on the game, to be honest. I don't know that you are, but I'm telling you how it's going to be if Oklahoma loses that. That early in the season expectation level is going to go right down the shitter if you lose a home game to Michigan. With Brent Venables calling your defense, a quarterback that had 44 touchdowns and over 4,000 yards last year. I don't care what league he was in. He still did that. He's got the same offensive coordinator, and they've got weapons, Jaden Ott and everything else. Losing that game is not going to be acceptable.
No,
it's not going to be acceptable. I'm not saying that you can't lose it, and that I would 100% agree, or that I would 100% tell you that they're going to beat the shit out of Michigan. Michigan's real. They beat Ohio State. They beat the national champions that beat the shit out of everybody else in that playoff, aside from the Texas game, which was the closest game they had. But I'm just telling you, I understand that Michigan's legit. I think a lot of Sharon Moore. He's an Oklahoma guy. We love him. I think that there's no excuse for you to lose if you're OU. And I guarantee you that there won't be many excuses listened to throughout this fan base if they lose that fucking football game. It's going to be an uphill climb from there. You're going to have to win a lot of games before people start getting back on your side.
Excuse me.
Now, if Michigan comes out and they win that game and they end up being 8 or 9-0 before they ever lose a game or anything like that, sure, that will go a long way to helping you as well. Yeah. Michigan's D was 10 spots better last year. Okay, Oklahoma was in the top 20, and what you have to understand is Oklahoma's defense was better than what the numbers even told you. They were the most efficient defense in the country.
Offense just sucked.
The offense was so bad that there was no complimentary football being played when it came to that shit. And a lot of the times that I would tell you that Oklahoma gave up something on the defensive side is because they were trying to overdo it. You see Billy, you saw this a bunch, Billy sticking his nose in there whenever he needed to be back, and they'd beat him deep. And he's trying to go make a play, step in front of a ball, do whatever, because they felt like if they didn't get a defensive touchdown, we couldn't win. And it's not really that far off. To be honest with you, the 2 SEC games they won, you had to keep 6.
Yeah. I got a neighbor who's a Michigan fan, and he's told me the truth. He just said that he don't think that they're going to be as decent this year because of the quarterback play.
You're just talking about your offense was worse. I don't think it was worse. And the other part about that is you didn't play against as many teams with good offenses as Oklahoma did.
And you didn't have that offensive line hurt and 6 receivers out.
On you, bro. I'm not even hating on you or anything else.
No,
I'm telling you, you can say that stuff, but I can tell you that what we saw from OU, look, all they had to do was be a little better on offense, not have a quarterback that was scared of his own shadow, and they're going to win 8 games. If they play Mike Hawkins in the second half of the year, the record isn't the same. I think they win 8, maybe 9 if Hawkins plays the rest of the second half of the year.
Yeah.
That's just I don't think I think it's a fact. It's not an opinion on my part. I feel like it's a flat out fact. Now it's an opinion because it's what I'm saying here and it didn't happen. But I'm just telling you the difference between Hawkins and Jackson Arnold was much bigger than what people realize. Much bigger.
True.
We'll see what happens, man. And look, all I'm saying is for the sake of Brent Venables, win the fucking game against Michigan, for God's sakes. Word is it's better this year. Maybe you're right. I'm going to tell you that you're not going to see the same offense that Oklahoma was last year by a long shot. So even if you are a better defense than you were a year ago, it's probably not going to look that way in week 2.
And last year, Dave, y'all's if you're a Michigan fans, y'all defense wasn't bad. Y'all's offense was just like Oklahoma's, terrible. So we're not saying anything bad about y'all defense.
I'm in agreement with him on that.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with him on that. They didn't have a guy that could throw the ball either. Period. Yeah. Moosehead, OU won 6 games last year. I just think this national championship may be a bit out of reach, but you seem convinced, hence I want to know what you're on. Look, the reason that people are is because of what I just said. The facts are that what Oklahoma was last year isn't exactly what you saw. It's not what you see on paper with 6 and 7. It's not. There was at least 5 games that they could have won, at least. If you win 2 of those, it's 8. It's 8 wins, and people are talking much different about OU than they are right now.
Yeah.
Right? If you get another one of those games like how you played it. Look, let's just say you win and you should have won Mizzou. Mizzou was trash. let's say you win that, and instead of falling apart against LSU after you led for the first quarter and a half, you keep that one close, even if you lose that game, but you don't lose big like that. Now, all of a sudden, people are talking a lot different. The things are, you didn't have the same things happen for you like Michigan did, where you beat a USC team that, yeah, well, it's USC, it's Lincoln, that's what they do. But you win that game, you win the game you also won the game against Alabama like Oklahoma did, and then you had a win against Ohio State, which hats off to you for that one. I don't know how the fuck y'all manage that, especially on the road. Especially, and after what we saw from them the rest of the season and the way that they dismantled teams, including, look at Oregon. Oregon didn't look near the same as they did in that week 3 game, whatever, week 3 or 4, whatever it was that they played Ohio State and got the great game. They won by a point.
Yeah.
And then they get just blown out of the freaking the Rose Bowl. You got to go?
Oh, no, I just said they got mollywop.
Oh. Anyway, I mean, it is what it is, and I think that Underwood is going to be fantastic. I think the next year's game, I wouldn't go out there telling you Oklahoma better win shit. You know, when they're on the road the next year in the Big House, I don't care what Oklahoma does this year. That's going to be a tough fucking place to go and play with not a brand new quarterback that has the kind of skill set that kid has. Unreal. So you can't believe shit you hear. He is the greatest thing since sliced bread. If reports are right, but I heard Orgy was a poor man's Milroe. Yeah, Alex Orgy. I don't know what I think about him.
That's tough right there.
Well, Moosehead, I know you're pumping it out there a lot. You know that I haven't been there with you on that. I'm not calling no national championship. I think that success for Oklahoma looks like this. The last 3 weeks of the year, they have a chance to make the playoff.
Yeah.
If you got the last 3 weeks, last 2 weeks even of the year, you've got a chance to make the playoff, then I think that I think you've had a good year in Norman. Because the next year, I think you're even better. So I mean, you got to look at it and you got to graduate a little at a time. It's hard to go from 6 and 7 to national champions. That's a lot to expect.
True.
That's a lot to expect. Now, am I going to sit here and tell you it's impossible? I am not. Because here's the thing about it. The one reason, and this is the reason I actually can tell you that for the OU fans that do that are predicting that, here's why I think it's okay that they do. This thing is wide ass open. Tell me the last time you could remember that 7, 8, 10 teams could theoretically win the motherfucker. I don't remember. I'll tell you this. A couple of years ago on this show, Shoddy, Coach I, those dudes were on with me, and we were talking about and Coach Roybal too, we're talking about maybe 4 or 5 teams. And it was kind of a wide open year according to everybody that year, right? They weren't real sure who was going to win it. But essentially we were saying 4 to 5 tops was how many could win. I'm looking at it. You go out there and you look at, there's probably 7, 8, 10 teams. OU controls their own destiny. You're not going out on any limbs, bro. What are you talking about? Everyone has a new quarterback. It's a little bit, and you get what Oklahoma's saying though. It's new to Oklahoma, but he's got continuity with his coordinator. He's been in the same system for 3 years. It's not the same thing. I would also tell you that Arch isn't quite the same thing as the rest of those brand new quarterback dudes. This is the 3rd year in the same system with obviously with Sark. And he had some starts last year. They were lucky for him. They were against ULM and Mississippi State. But I don't consider Mateer a new quarterback either. I get to agree with Drew on something. I don't consider him a new quarterback. Not when he did what he did last year.
No.
When I look at new quarterbacks, I'm looking at guys like in Ole Miss, Austin Simmons. He's taken snaps once since he got there. He's a redshirt freshman. I'm looking at guys like you have a completely brand new quarterback at Mizzou. You got a completely brand new quarterback at Tennessee. Obviously at South Carolina, they've got their same quarterback from last year. Same at LSU. At Alabama, completely new quarterback. But by the time the year is, we're talking about that's the 10th game of the year for Oklahoma.
Oh, Ty Simpson,
he's not going to be new by then. And even for that matter, neither would their true freshman if he ended up taking over. Which don't get it twisted and think that kid can't come in and be that dude. Ty Simpson is somewhat new. He won't be new by the time Oklahoma gets to him. We're talking game 10. It's not the same new. But Michigan, brand new quarterback, week 2. Right?
It's a little
Auburn,
bit different.
brand new quarterback, week 4. And we know about his ass.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. It gives Oklahoma advantages that they should be able to take advantage of. It should. That defense is legit too, and that's the whole thing. I think that with Brent calling it the way that he's going to call it, there's a good opportunity to win every one of those games. Now, do you win them all? Probably not. Do you win 10 of them? It's tough, man. I can see 3 losses. I really can. I'm seeing 3 losses, whether they come. I think Alabama, LSU are the most likely losses. I'm still not big on South Carolina. I know, look, I like Lenore Sellers as much as anybody does. I think Lenore has to carry them on his back for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not positive that he can. I think Lenore's is fucking good. If he was anywhere else, I'd be scared shitless of him. I think that I think playing for the dude they play for, I am not a Shane Beamer guy, man. I think playing for Shane is the downfall of that program. He recruits well. He doesn't put it on the field very well.
Yeah. He
just doesn't. Don't overlook Arkansas. We don't have to play Arkansas unless it's in the championship game. So I'm overlooked them because we don't get to play them. Arnold's new to Auburn, though, and to that system. Arnold is new to Auburn in that system. He's not new to Oklahoma. They know exactly what to do to get his ass rattled. His ass is on the menu. He's on a plate week 4.
Mm-hmm.
And don't think for one second that early on they're not going to be sending the house after his ass to freak him the fuck out. If he plays, for that matter.
Yeah.
The game to be scared of is the Auburn game. I'm scared, please. Do you want to lose the game? No. If you lose that game, you want to talk about bad feelings? Oh, no.
Oh, no, ain't no new, but he is warm.
It's a lot of bad feelings. But no, Kyle, he's worn. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I wouldn't be very surprised if Jackson wasn't playing in that game already by then. I think that week one for them, the Baylor game, is going to have a lot to do with the rest of the season for them. They're on the road. Baylor's pretty fucking good. And guess what? Dave Aranda will send shit at him too, knowing that he's not great with pressure.
True.
They're going to get pressure. Now, should they beat Baylor? They should. If they don't, or if it's closer, oh, Lord.
It's going to be.
By week 4, he may not be in there at that point. Now, Deuce, hey, I like Deuce, though. We should have brought that up with Marcus still on. He talks about Deuce like, bro, that guy's the real deal. Again, though, first time against a seasoned defensive coordinator. Think back to to the years when the Patriots were dominating the NFL, what did they always say about first-year quarterbacks against Belichick defenses? They're like 1-12.
Don't do well.
Yeah, they never lost to him. Never. So you've been told Baylor's winning the Big 12. I'd pump the brakes there if I was you, but I could see why people like them. I'm not going to go there emotionally with it because I already just said it. I just told you how it would be. I think if a guy like Deuce Knight comes in and plays and they lose, that's the other team that a lot of these pundits are trying to pump up. They're pumping them up. Because of look at Eric Singleton comes into the room. You already had Cam Coleman. They've got a good offensive line. They run the ball well. Their defense has been pretty good. They should be good. But it's Auburn. Who's to say? They're not recruiting worth the shit. Right now, they're like 80th in recruiting. They've got 8 total recruits that have come in. But here's the thing. If they go out there and win, and they have been in the top 10 in the last 2 years, if they go out there and win on the field, all of a sudden that recruiting problem is over with by the end of the year.
Yep.
A lot of good could happen for Auburn at this part of in this season. Or it could go the other way. I don't know how they think that they should fire Hugh Freeze when they still owe like 3 coaches.
They better keep his ass.
Yeah, you're talking about Arnold beating OU. Well, that's the closest I'm coming to a guarantee, period, would be that ain't gonna fucking happen.
Hey, Jace, I'm about to get up out here, man. It's 2:15 my time. I'm tired as hell.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I'm fixing to go too. We've already been going over 2 hours.
Oh shit! I didn't even see that.
No. Okay, yeah, looky here. You're talking about Alabama? Arnold didn't do shit.
He ran the ball.
He only threw the ball 10 times. Had Michael Hawkins played that game, those 2 long runs that Jackson had would have been touchdowns.
Because you ain't catching.
If they run the same game plan, they win 35-3 instead of 24. Same game plan. They would have won 35-3. They'd have blown their asses out of the water with Michael Hawkins.
Yeah, because they didn't throw the ball.
Beat Alabama. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Go ahead. Coach, tell everybody how to find you.
Oh, man, you can find me, man, on Coach's Talk, man, Thursdays and Sunday evenings. Me and Bishop Franks and everything, man. Other than that, I'll be on your show, man.
I'll be on more often, man, if I can. It's just this last week, I don't know if you heard at the start, man. I've had a lot of shit going on personally. And to be honest with you, the morning show, I just hadn't wanted to do it.
Hey, man, you deserve to do what you want to do, man. I've learned that. I've learned that from Bishop, man. I've learned that.
I've been tired. I've been little burnt, and a lot of shit going on with the family. And I needed a little bit of time. I just need a little bit of time. That's all.
Look,
I'll be back this week
with Keontae in Denver, and we going back and forth there with this coaching thing going on, with the officiating thing going on, with work. Shit, I'm tired sometimes, but I try to do it. Man, because the work ethic has to be there. But there's days, man, that I just want to just push it back. Do what you gotta do, man.
Yep.
If you're not ready, man, you don't want to do it, man. We understand. We understand.
Well, so, it's not something that it's gonna be a habit of mine. I mean, that's the first time I've done that in 3 fucking years.
Yeah. Hey, this is the first time I ever been up this late. So trust me, I was wanting to get on so bad. I was like, let me stay up, man, and get on this.
I appreciate you, bro. I really do. Really do.
Oh, man.
Make sure you guys get over there and check him out. We're getting further. Hey, I love it that your subscription rank keeps checking up. So let's get it. Let's make sure we get him to the 500 before the start of the season, or 1,000 would be great. Get him fully monetized. That'd be awesome.
Man, I'm just loving that. I'm letting people come on now, man. Just letting some of the guys in the comment come on. I think that's another thing that's helping the channel get higher rankings and everything, man. So whatever we got to do, we're gonna do it, man. We're always about OU content, man. We're always about speaking what we feel is right. And if you want to come in there and chop it up with us, we welcome the challenge. But man, you have a good one, man. I will definitely see you on Monday. I'm gonna take Monday off, so
Right. Okay.
I'll probably jump on
I
Monday and
think we may
everything.
have I think we may have a special guest on Monday for sure. I hope we get Boganowski. I think he'll be on as well.
Right.
He's been making the Monday shows. Chances are we could get Marcus. I know he's still going to be in Norman though, so we may or may not. And he's been busy, man. He's got a lot of stuff going on right now with his business that's kind of keeping him from jumping on too much. So that's kind of what it is with that. But man, you're welcome to jump in and chop it up with us if you want to, man.
Hey,
It's
man.
at Coach Ricks, man. At Coach Ricks.
Yes. At Coach Ricks and his Coach's Talk.
And Coach's Talk is the name of the channel, but it's at Coach Ricks. So make sure you guys jump in there and check him out.
Yeah.
Brother, we love you, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. Y'all have a wonderful evening, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you Monday, man.
Okay, bro. Later.
All right.
Coach Ricks from Coach's Talk. We're gonna get one more person to pop in for the last part of the show, but we're almost out of here on it. So as well, you need to quit acting brand new. Quit acting brand new, Drew. You know damn well why he wasn't playing at the end of the year. The money that they had invested in him as for NIL and all that shit, when that damn South Carolina game happened, even though it got the OC fired, but for whatever reason, because of the fact that they burned his red shirt on him coming in that game, and I'll tell you, that was a mistake by BV. That he allowed that to get to where it was when it came to that stuff. He should have burned both their red shirts. They had a losing season. You need to burn both those dudes' red shirts when it comes to that. Who gives a fuck? But because he did, and the money that they had invested in him, they wanted to see what he was, and I think that they got beholden to Jackson and his family. That's just my belief. In fact, it's not just a belief. It's what I know happened. It's what I know happened. So it is what it is. You got to quit acting like brand new because you know damn good and well that's what happened. Join the channel. Good job, guys, getting in there and joining that channel. To help your Michigan argument, Sharon probably won't be coaching. You should be good, but bet the under. So I saw how that's kind of crazy. I was wanting to talk to, and I'm going to ask you too, Dave, who are your favorite creators for Michigan that we should be working with in the weeks leading up to the game? Oh, shit. I swear I already sent that. My bad, Bishop. It's there. Who do you like? What content creators do you like? I wrote down a couple of names the other day from a couple of people that I know around there, but I wanted to. Shit, where is that? I'm gonna have to find them though. Shit, it's time to clean this fucking desk up. Jesus, what a mess! What a mess! You can tell I ain't been doing much this week. Let's see. Who did I write down? I had somebody on here. I don't see him. Who you got? I'm not brand new. I know. I tell you what I know and don't know, and I'm telling you now. You know the damn reason why. Oh, here we go. College football with Sam. Do you watch him, Dave? College football with Sam or Johnny Olden Jr. football with Johnny Olden Jr. Those are two people I heard of. Hey, watch the background noise there, Bishop. If I'm gonna bring you on. Watch the background noise. Here we go. Let's see. What's up, Bishop? Oh shit. Hold on. I thought I had you. What's going on, Bishop?
What's going on? What y'all doing?
Last couple of minutes of the show.
Oh, for sure. For
Voice
sure,
of
man.
college
Appreciate you.
football. Let's see. He says voice of college football with TJ Ronan. Okay. Shit, where's my pen? That one shouldn't be too hard. Voice of college football.
Hope everybody had a great 4th of July, man.
Yeah. Shit, I didn't do nothing. Did nada. TJ Ronan, who else you got? And the Rivals guys, who are those guys? Johnny, if you want to chop it up, Sam, if you want to be technical. Okay. So those guys that I heard of, yeah, because Jen J that comes on our show quite a bit, she told us that one. And then the football with Johnny Bolden Jr. That was somebody else on Really Flawed's channel that was telling me that. So I forget who it was, but somebody I didn't really know. One of those Really Flawed fans. Everybody's a fan of Really Flawed, though. Everybody's a fan of Really Flawed. Shout out to Really Flawed. Have you been over there watching Really Flawed there, Drew? Drew the Longhorn, she's a Texas fan. You love her. You would love her. We all like her, though, too. These dogs, night owls tonight, like Bishop. Check them out. I bet that dude Connor Stallion's got a show. Hey, if we could get Connor Stallions on, I'm all the way in. So, somebody show me how to get a hold of Connor Stallions. I will get his ass on the show. He's welcome to join my show at any time. I'd love to get into that. I'd love to get into that conversation. That dude crazy. The Michigan channel with TJ is very good. Who is TJ? Fuck, we talking about?
Amazing Blue.
Is that Amazing Blue? That's the one you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Amazing Blue. Okay. That was already going to be getting a hold of. I've already gotten. I haven't gotten a hold of him, but I followed him. He's following me, so we just haven't talked yet. Just show us Norm, and all will be forgiven. Shit, Norm's sleeping too. He's not night owling it. I'm not. Let me see. I can't even put the other camera on. I've got it all messed up in here in the damn thing. Connor Stallion's a G. Hey man, he just didn't even care. Amazing Blue review. Yeah. Okay. Yep, that's the one. I'll get a hold of him. We got to get a hold of him soon anyway. Their show's a little wild, man. They get into it. It's kind of like watching it's kind of like watching Rawhide in there. They get wilding out in there. Maybe not like Rawhide, but not pure like Rawhide. Excuse me, Raw, if you heard that, excuse me. I won't push it that far because nobody's Rawhide. But
Rawhide.
Yeah. We definitely got to get back and do some work with Raw. We haven't done him in a while. And then Coach Hayes.
Yeah, Coach Hayes.
Coach Hayes.
Shoot.
I like
Brensky. Coach Sean. There's a lot of people out there, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to talking to those guys. Any of them. I'm willing to go on shows, but I definitely would like to have a few of them come on our show the week of or whatever.
I would like Ty Simpson to come through if he can.
Ty Simpson for what? Are you talking? That's the Alabama quarterback. Who are you talking about?
I mean, you know me, Ty. Do apologize.
Huh? Who are you talking about? The Amazing Blue guy? Amazing Blue?
No, Bama Standard.
Oh no, you're talking about John.
No, John, but they had what's his name? That's going for his he's doing the lawyer deal.
I don't know who you're talking
Ain't
about.
his name?
Ty Hayes.
Yes.
Our boy Ty Hayes. Not Ty Simpson. What the hell's the matter with you? Ty Hayes. I think there's a chance we could get Ty Hayes on one of these times.
Yeah. He's been making his rounds.
He's busy though, man. He's busier and shit. But Ty Henderson is bro, you gotta quit. He ain't. He got a lot. I'll give him one thing. He's got a lot of subscriptions, a lot of subscribers. Ty Henderson.
And don't forget about Shorty.
Shouting my dog, man. I can't wait to get him back on. He's just rare that he shows up. No, he was talking about Ty Hayes, dog. He's talking about Ty Hayes. Ty Hayes from Around the Table Sports. If you don't know who he is, there's a problem.
Yes, sir.
46 likes. We got 53 in here watching now. That's at least close to where we should be. I still wish that everybody would hit that like button. We got 185 total people in here. 132 of them are in Twitter. We appreciate everybody coming and checking us out. Listen, if you don't mind, we definitely are trying to run up our subscriptions. So you Twitter folks that are in here watching the show, jump over to @HOF-CFB. That's @HOF-CFB.
Right.
On YouTube. Become a subscriber. Help us get to 5,000 before the season starts, man. It would be greatly appreciated. Hit that like button, subscribe. It's big for us. I guess there's a new way that you can get monetized for Twitter. I haven't completely looked into it just yet. Apparently, it's not as hard. It almost seemed impossible, at least for the next year or so, until I don't spend a lot of time on Twitter just promoting the show pretty much, but the more that the show has been on there, I think there's a chance that we got a pretty good shot at getting monetized on there too. Until we do, though, it would be great if you pop over here and hit a like button for us, become a watcher.
Hey, we appreciate it, you guys.
Definitely.
You guys are what make the show.
You dumped on 3. Why'd you dump on 3? Not a Josh Pate fan? Why don't you like Josh Pate? Everybody loves Josh Pate. You're talking Kyle Henderson on Bama football. Yeah, I'm still not a huge Kyle Henderson guy. He kind of did all those dudes that we're talking about. Ty Hayes, Smook, he did them all dirty. From what
Coach Luke.
Mm-hmm. Ty Hayes, I think even like Coach Sean and them, same thing. I don't know exactly what all happened. Get Parker on. I could have done that already, bro. Not happening. I don't know how to say that little.
Hey, tell him that's a work in progress.
Don't care. Hey man, appreciate you, Neilio. Yes, sir. I'm glad you all came in here. What do you got? Anything on that stuff, Bishop? Ty was just on JP and Trav. I didn't know that. He pops up on with.
That's why I said his name.
He pops up with Brinsky and those dudes at least every couple of weeks still. But it's kind of hit and miss with him. So what I'll do is just, we can give him he's got a he knows he's got a standing invitation to this channel too. Ty's one of my guys. He's one of the guys that kind of helped me move along the channel when I first got started. So I definitely have all love for Ty Hayes, man. He's my boy.
And nah, man, I'm just ready for the season to begin.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to talking the most of it, we were talking about really what Jim Nagy was saying about the way they're recruiting and not getting into bidding wars over 5 stars. I think they're going for more, especially early on and it makes sense, and of course, Dent coming in talking about that's not going to be, you're not going to be able to do that if you win for very long, which I agree with. I don't think that this whole Deloitte deal and being able to like limit what they can make on NIL is going to last very long either. So I think that Oklahoma is going to be fine to get into the bidding wars down the line. I think right now you need to look at it in terms of you've got 2 6-win seasons in the last 3. You kind of have to go and get the best that you could get for a bargain price, or you need to do is get as much value out of your recruiting as you can. I think Oklahoma's already been doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that they were doing that at Clemson whenever Venables was there too, until they won a Natty. And then all of a sudden those guys were turning into 5 stars. So it became a bidding war. I think in the end, it's exactly what we've been talking about these first 2 years, that you should probably expect for it to be, the rankings may not be as high until you start winning. So when you start winning, expect those rankings to go up, but it is going to also cost more money, and it's tougher to get those guys because it turns into that bidding war. I don't think they're just trying to go on the cheap so much.
No,
I think what they're doing is I think they're trying to maximize their value on the players that they bring in.
I think they're just trying to make sure they have no money on the bench. You can't miss in these days.
That's a great way to put it. You don't want to have a ton of money on the bench. That's right. Yeah, the guy on Crane and Company. Yeah, that's David Cohn. Yeah, for sure. Definitely be trying to get a hold of them. We've had Jake on. We're supposed to have Jake on. If I was going to SEC Media Days, which I've got the application in, I don't think they're going to let me in. But Big Trap's supposed to be on the show. Big Trap's got some stuff going on. You guys know that. So we'll get Big Trap. Big Trap's got a standing invitation to come on my show.
Yeah.
He knows that. You guys know that. But
you always get cool.
The Crane and Company guys will probably be on the show before long. Big shout out to Jake and them. Expect some stuff from us in High Top, man. There's some stuff we're working on together for possible. It may come this year. It may be later in the year, but we're working on some stuff to do together here soon. So expect a little bit of that. The High Top crew, shout out to them, man. They're just killing it. Just fucking killing it. And whether you're a Gator fan or not, if you don't watch High Top Sports, you missing out, man. Because entertainment is on the real. They're
and they are the one with recruiting.
They do a great job. Steven from Fanatic Perspective, I like Steven. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of him. Nino is my guy. When it comes to Texas dudes, Nino's Corner, the Colonel is my dude, man. Colonel Nino is my guy. So definitely looking to do some stuff there as well. They are not Texas haters. They've been loving on fucking Texas since last year. You don't pay any attention. Just because they said they're giving love to Oklahoma this year, they're Texas haters. Shut up, Drew. Bless his heart. Yeah, bless their heart. All right, man. Well, that's all for me. Anything else from you there, Bishop? I'm ready.
Nah, we're keeping all receipts that come and due.
Oh yeah, the receipts are definitely in the accounting box of Bishop Frank here. He will be tossing them my way, Coach Rick's way, everybody else's way for as far as OU fans are concerned or OU creators are concerned. So expect that those receipts will be called upon. So all love to everybody though, man. We're happy about I like working with all these dudes, no matter who they're creators with. Big time like working with Really Flawed. If you haven't paid attention to her yet, Drew, you've got to. She's unbelievable. And but anyway, I appreciate everybody coming in, spending some time with us. We got almost 200 people in here watching right now, which is wild. Make sure you hit that like button. We got 133 still, 56 of them in here in the YouTube stream, 133 on Twitter.
Run the mics up
come over from Twitter to the YouTube page, hit that like button, become a subscriber. We'd appreciate it. All right. Dave, you're going 18-14 Michigan. All right. On the way out, I'm going to say Oklahoma 27-10 over Michigan. You guys have a good one. We'll see you all on the next one. Are you tired of your game day gear looking like it's stuck in the offseason? Well, step up your fandom with Hall of Fame College Football's official Fanatics partner store. Whether you're a diehard Oklahoma Sooners fan like myself, bleeding Crimson and Cream, or you rep another one of the SEC's heavy hitters, Fanatics has you covered. Shop thousands of officially licensed hats, jerseys, sideline polos, and exclusive championship merch from the entire Power 4 and Group of 6 too. All shipped directly to your doorstep and fast. Want to gear up like your favorite coaches and players? Are you looking for that perfect tailgate tee or a statement piece for your man cave? Fanatics is your one-stop shop for authentic college football gear from everybody that plays the game. So do yourself and your team a favor. Click our link in the description or simply log on to hofmedia.us/fanatics. That's hofmedia.us/fanatics. And you can shop everything that you want for the best prices of the day right on our Fanatics partner page.